Hey everyone, welcome to today's lesson, which is both a grammar and vocabulary lesson, and I'm going to talk to you all about the word like. All right, so like. This is a word that you will be seeing a lot of today. So if this is your first time here, I want you to write your name in the comments, say hello in the chat. I just want to hear from you because my name is Wes. This is Interactive English. And what we are all about at this channel is just trying to help you practice and improve your English skills. And the reason that we're doing this, the reason that we're talking about this word right here is because it is so important in English. This is a word that we use all the time. Whether you like it or not, we use this word pretty much anytime we're having a conversation. You are going to hear this word being used. And even though I think this, many of you are already familiar with this word, this is going to be a deep dive into how you use this word, when you use this word, and really trying to understand the different parts of speech. Because it is even though it's a simple word and that you can identify it, it's good to know the subtle nuances and differences between whether it's used as a noun or whether it's used as a verb, okay? So let's just start out with some fun facts about this word. So the word like. This word is used as 7 different parts of speech. That's right, 7 different parts of speech, and I am going to talk to you about each one of them today. And I'm going to ask you some questions as well, so that you can practice along and interact with this lesson and practice with me. That's what I want you guys to do. The word is also, according to the OEC, which if you're not familiar with that, that is the Oxford English Corpus. The word like is ranked number 54 as the most common word in English. So that just reinforces what I said a little while ago, that this is a word that you are going to hear all the time. So it's really important to know the differences about when and how to use this word. So let's begin, all right? Let's start with a question. I'm going to give you guys some questions throughout the lesson, and I just want you to write your answer in the chat, write your answer in the comments, as well as participate and write some sentences so that you can actually practice. That's what these lessons are all about, is actually practicing your English skills. So how would you complete this sentence? I really eating pizza. What do you think? Which word could possibly finish and complete that sentence? I hope that all of you are thinking like. Exactly. I really like eating pizza. Surprise. Could you believe it? So let's talk about using like as a verb, as in that example that I just gave you. Now, the question that I have for you, which I would like you to answer. I feel like as I go through this lesson, I'm going to notice every time that I say the word like. What I would like you to do is to answer the question, try to use a full sentence, and just practice using the word like. So I would ask you the question, what do you like to do on the weekends? What do you like to do? In that case, in that question, I'm asking about things that you take pleasure in, because the first meaning of the word like as a verb is to take pleasure in something. Like that question that I just gave you. She really likes eating pizza, all right? This is probably one of the most common uses of like. As a verb, it's talking about the things you enjoy, that you take pleasure in doing. Now notice that in that sentence, she really likes eating. That is a gerund. You like doing something. Now, what makes this verb so special is that we can also follow it with the infinitive as well. Like is a verb that you can follow it with a gerund, or you can follow it with the infinitive. The meaning is the same. She really likes eating pizza. She really likes to eat pizza. So this is one of those verbs you can use either the gerund or the infinitive. The next one is talking about something you want, but it's being polite. And that's the key word. And it's used as would like. And I asked you guys, I wanted to be like, I said, I would like you to write a sentence. I would like you to answer that question right there. So you want to be polite. Instead of saying want, it's just more polite to say would like. This is partly cultural. So this is a good thing to know if you are talking with a friend or something and you want something like, oh, I would like a glass of water. Or if you're out at a restaurant, you might say, like my example right there, I would like, oh my gosh, and I made a mistake. I would like the filet mignon, not to, all right? There is not a preposition that should go there. That should say the. I would like the filet mignon. So again, if you're out at a restaurant or even a coffee shop, I think it's a little more polite. Instead of saying want, just say, I would like this thing. It's very polite. It's the right thing to do. And another use in the verb is saying to do well in. Now, in this case, you're kind of talking about two things. Like I'd say, let's just look at my example. My shoes do not like the rain. All right. Most people would think that you're talking about enjoying something. But in this case, you're talking about how they perform. My shoes do not like the rain. Perhaps your shoes are made of leather and they should not be outside in the rain. Maybe there's no tread on the bottom of your shoes. And you worry about slipping and falling. Or even maybe another example, you could say, oh, my car does not like the snow. Which means that, okay, in cold weather and snowy weather, maybe the car won't start. Maybe the car you have trouble getting through the snow. And in that case, you can say that if something doesn't perform well, you'd say, well, it does not like this thing. So that is another use of like. All right, there are a few more things with the verb, and then I'll read through them. Some of your examples. The fourth one is, this is probably the newest meaning. The latest meaning for a verb is to electronically register approval, all right? To like a video, for example, all right? My example sentence, I like it when, I enjoy it, I take pleasure, I like it when people like our lessons, when they hit the like button and they register their approval. So again, this is a meaning that 20 or 30 years ago, before YouTube, before Facebook, we didn't use the word in this context, but nowadays it's very common, especially when you're talking about social media and liking a video or liking a comment, and you are just saying, yes, I approve of this, I agree with it, and I do. I hope you guys like my lessons. I hope you enjoy our lessons and find them useful, so please hit that like button. Like the videos, yes. And the last one, again, it's just a verb, but it has 5 different meanings. Wait, let me get in front of there. So you can leave anytime you like. And in that phrase, we're talking about like, I'm using like again, your preference. What do you prefer? You can leave anytime you like. I could tell you that, but I don't want you to leave. I'm just giving you an example. Or I could say, you can eat anything you like. You can go any place you like. So in this case, it's often at the end. You would find it at the end of a sentence, and it's talking about like anywhere you like, anything you like, any place you like. It's referring to your preference. Okay, so let's look at some examples. I was asking you guys, what do you like to do on the weekends? All right, yes, Angela said, I like watching soccer on TV. Perfect. Excellent. Zakia said, my brother likes shopping. Perfect. My brother likes shopping. The gerund, my brother likes to shop. You can use either one. What else? Sometimes my cell phone doesn't like working. Yes, my cell phone also, it doesn't like working either, especially in cold weather. It just doesn't turn on. There's a problem with that. Ira, I always like your video lessons, Wes Teacher. Thank you, Ira. I appreciate it. I'm happy. I'm so glad to see a lot of the same names that are always back here writing comments. Love hearing from you guys. It really makes me, I don't know, it just makes me, I really like the community that we have been developing together. Maria, I like hanging out. Perfect. Let's see. I like listening. Ruma, I like listening to my favorite songs. Excellent. So those are all great examples. Things that you enjoy doing, that you take pleasure in, probably the most common use of the verb. Now, the last thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to verbs, that in most cases, especially when you're talking about things that you enjoy, like is considered a stative verb. Now, stative verb is talking about just like a state, some kind of feeling. It's not an action. And when we think about stative verbs, if you look in most grammar books, it would say that stative verbs are not used in the continuous tense with that ing. But, all right, there's always a but when you talk about exceptions. You may hear this in just informal, casual, and colloquial speech. And this is a way that the language is changing, because in grammar books, if you talk about something that you like to do or you like doing, they would say don't use it in the continuous tense, but you might hear people use this if you're watching a TV show or a movie. And I gave you some examples. Somebody would say, I'm liking my odds. Instead of saying, I like my odds, in spoken English, somebody might be like, I'm liking my odds, all right? This is happening now. Or you could say, example, like enjoy, like instead of how do you enjoy your classes, how are you liking your classes? Somebody might ask that question in the continuous tense, even though it is a stative verb. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out. And this is similar with the verb love. Also, it follows those same rules. It should not be used in the continuous tense, but you may hear people say, I'm loving this, and they would use it in the continuous tense. The only time where it's a verb where I'd say that it is appropriate is if you talk about when you're registering your approval. Like, there I said like again. You could say you are liking many comments, all right? You are registering your approval for many comments. In that case, it is an action. That is talking about an action, so you could use that. So I hope that makes sense, that in most cases it's a stative verb. You shouldn't use it in the continuous tense, but you will hear people say this in spoken English from time to time, all right? So let's look at like now as a noun. And my question for you, I want you guys to tell me, so I can learn a little bit more about you. What are some of your likes and dislikes? So if somebody were to ask you, what are some of your likes? They're using it as a noun, and it just means, again, something that one likes, something that a person enjoys. So for example, I would say, and this is true, I'd say my likes include hiking, watching documentaries, and outdoor hot tubs in the winter. Those are my likes. Those are the things that I enjoy. So you could also tell me, I want to know, what are some of your likes? The other way that it's used as a noun is, again, this is a newer meaning because we're talking about social media and the internet and the online community. It is the act of liking an online comment. So somebody might say like this. They say, the video received 1,000 likes. And you know that if you hear that, like, oh, there were 1,000 likes, that they're talking about those people's approval, that they hit the like button and they say, yes, I enjoyed this video. I enjoy what this person's doing. So those are two different meanings for this noun. What are your likes? And talking about like video approval, that the video received 1,000 likes, 1 million likes. I hope that you guys, I hope that this video, hopefully, maybe it will get to 1,000 likes. That would be amazing. I would love that. So let me see if you guys have some examples for me talking about your likes and dislikes. What are your likes? So Kali says, on the weekend, I like to hang out with my friends. But in that case, again, it would be used as a verb. And you'd say, my likes are hanging out with my friends and family. All right. That is something that I enjoy. Lolly, my likes include learning English, swimming, and watching TV. Perfect. Excellent. My greatest like is interactive English. Thank you. And hello from the Dominican Republic. Excellent. Love hearing people. I used to live in the Dominican Republic. I lived in San Pedro de Macorís for a year and taught in an orphanage. It was a great experience. Beautiful country. Thank you for sharing that sentence. Fulia, my likes include doing nothing special. Okay, that works. Angela, my likes include watching your videos and making some cookies. Ooh, cookies. That just sounds very good right now. Zara, my likes include studying, learning English, and listening to music. So in this case, again, you would often hear people refer to them as like my likes or your likes, or his likes or her likes. And they include these activities. Often, again, on a side note, I think of like people when they're, maybe they sign up for some kind of dating online site or dating app, and you're trying to match up with somebody and it's asking, well, what are the things that you like? What are the things you dislike? And you'd say, oh, my likes include these different activities. Perfect. Okay, so let's do, a quick little thing, let you guys know. If you guys do enjoy our content and you guys enjoy what we are doing, you can check out our Patreon page. I will throw a link in the description. We have some cool rewards up there, and it's just another way to kind of connect with us, to show us some love. I will put a link right there in the chat as well. You can check that out. Let's go ahead and do another question. All right, see if you can complete this sentence. All right, here it is. How would you complete this question? What does this look? Which word could possibly complete that question so that it makes sense? All right, what does this look? All right, if you're having trouble, let me help you out. The word, I hope that all of you would say, what does this look like? Surprise. Like is the answer to the question. What does this look like? And I don't know, can you guys tell me? What does that look like to you? Do you have any guesses? All right, so in this case, we're talking about like being used as a preposition. And there are many different uses for like when we're talking about prepositions. And my question for you that you can describe, if I were to ask you, okay, who do you look like? What do you think is, and you could tell me you look like, I look like my brother, I look like my father, I look like my mother, or maybe there's some famous person out there, some famous actor or actress that you look like. So I want you to answer the question, tell me who you look like, and again, practice using the word as a conjunction. So in that case, the first meaning is to resemble. Resembling something, and I'd say Wes looks like Dennis the Menace. All right, a few people have told me this actually before. Dennis the Menace is a cartoon character that you can see the image over there, and they say, oh, Wes, you look a little like Dennis the Menace. So I could say Wes looks like Dennis the Menace. That's who I look like. I don't know if you agree or disagree. You can tell me. I always like to think I look like Ryan Gosling. I don't know if you know the famous actor. But you can also use it as a preposition talking about similar characteristics. He is sly like a fox. This is an example of a simile when you're comparing two things that are basically not the same. You're comparing a person and a fox. He is sly like a fox. He is fast like a car. He is strong like an ox. So there are many different ways that we can use similes when we want to describe something and give a little more information. Also, if we're talking about similes, you can use like or as. Those are the two common types of similes. He is as sly as a fox, or he is sly like a fox. Either way, they mean the same thing, but if you're using like, it is a preposition. The next one is if you're willing to do something. And often I think we use it in the question. And somebody might ask, okay, do you feel like watching a movie? What do you feel like doing this weekend? Do you feel like doing this thing? Are you willing to do this activity? And people would ask, I think it's very common in the United States, and many Americans would say, feel like doing something. Do you feel like doing this? Would you feel like doing that? How do you feel? Would you feel like doing this thing? So let's see. This is great use for prepositions, all right? There are 4 other ones, all right? So you can also use it as a preposition if you're talking about approximately. Something, and say, well, it costs like $50, all right? Approximately $50. It costs like that much. You can use it to say like such as, or for example. I asked about, do you feel like watching a movie? If I say, oh, do you feel like watching Netflix? What would you like to watch? And I'd say, well, I would like to watch shows like Peaky Blinders. I just finished the season last night. It just came out last week, so I kind of binge watched it. But I'd say, oh, I watch shows like Peaky Blinders. I eat fruits like apples and bananas. So whenever you're talking about some subject and then you're going to give examples, you would use like as a preposition to provide more information. I watch movies like, and then you name the list of movies that the ones that you enjoy. And as it could be used to say, as though there would be. All right. And in this case, I'd give you the sentence like, it looks like it's going to rain. It looks like it's going to rain. And it looks as though it's going to rain. And this is when you're kind of making a prediction about something. Well, it looks like the weather's going to do this. It looks like the sports competition is going to end in this way. Something that you think will happen, as though it were going to happen. You say, well, it looks like. All right, let's see some of your examples. Who do you look like? Zakia says, I look like an energetic person. Perfect. Olivia, like my mother, my actress. Oh, okay. Simon says, my daughter looks like me. Perfect. Duelam Nguyen, my daughter looks like, oh, two people. All right, their daughter looks like them. Perfect. So, I look like myself. Sure, exactly. You do look like yourself. What else? Any famous people in here? Anybody look like any celebrities or anything? Don't see too many. Don't see any. Okay. So again, when you're talking about like, who do you look like? These are all examples of like being used as a preposition. All right. Let's look at the next part of speech. And that is like used as an adjective. Now, this is probably this is less common, this usage. And my question would be like, which clothes of like color do you have? So if you're saying that something is of like something, you're talking about something that's similar or much the same. So I'm talking about of like color, of the same color in that case. The usage, again, is not as common, but it is something that you may hear. And I could say the company responded in like fashion. They responded the same way. Something happened, and I'd say, well, they responded in like fashion. They did the same thing. That is a phrase, in like fashion, in the same way. You may hear, good to know, good to learn, always good for improving your fluency. Like, oh, they responded in like fashion. They did the same thing. Corresponding. If two things like if multiple things correspond, I could say the class will study astronomy, physics, and like sciences. Again, it's used as an adjective to modify sciences. And we're talking about things that are corresponding to those other subjects. The class will study astronomy, physics, and like sciences. Other sciences that correspond with astronomy and physics. So this would be like used as an adjective. So let's see. Do you guys have any examples of clothes of like color do you have? I think I have clothes, my clothes of, I guess I have a lot of blue clothes, a lot of navy. My whole wardrobe is mostly navy. It is pretty much the colors that I deal with. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have any examples. Romasa, I like blue. That is also one of my favorite colors. Bachu, I like red tie, similar to this shirt. Okay, perfect. Excellent. So again, you might hear it being used as an adjective talking about of like something. All right, of like color, of like style, this way something looks, it's used as an adjective. All right, are you ready for another question? Oh, how would you complete this sentence? Which word should go in that blank? Stop acting a spoiled brat. Does anybody have any idea which word could possibly go in there? I think I've tried to make this as easy as possible. And it should come to no surprise that the word that goes in there is like. Stop acting like a spoiled brat. And the reason I wanted to give this is because this is an example of like being used as a conjunction. So we've already talked about, we've already gone through quite a few already. Like being used as a conjunction. So I could ask you, what did you feel like the last time you were sick? Now, I want you to try and write a sentence using like as a conjunction and tell me what you felt like. Maybe you felt like somebody stepped on your head. I don't know. Maybe you felt like somebody punched you in the stomach. Maybe you felt like you got hit by a car. All right. There's a lot of different ways that it can be used, but in that case, it would be used as a conjunction. What did you feel like the last time you were sick? And in this case, it means like would just mean like as if. All right. And you can use it in that sentence. He acted like he was afraid of a little rain. He acted as if he was afraid of a little rain. Maybe it started raining outside and somebody's going to trying to run inside and like, oh, he acted like he was afraid of a little rain. And maybe that person would say, well, it's because my shoes don't like rain. I acted like I was afraid because my shoes don't like rain. They don't perform well in the rain. So again, there's many different ways that you can use this word. Let's look at in this other one, in the same way. If we're talking about it in that way as a conjunction, the movie ended like you would expect. In that case, it is a conjunction. You're talking about basically, well, in the same way that you would anticipate that it would end, that you would expect. It ended like you would expect, or it ended like you would think. And that's a common collocation phrase that something ended like you would expect. All right, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a sports match, and it would end like you expect. Perfect. So let's see. How did you guys feel? Shivanshi, I felt as if under the rain. But you would say I felt like I was under the rain. Okay, that would work. Jessica, I feel like I felt. How did you feel last? I felt like I was falling from an airplane. Ouch! That sounds like you were really sick then. Angela, I felt like I felt like. But remember, you would need to say like in this case, I felt like I was. You would need to say that other phrase. I felt like something. You need that other clause there. I felt like I was something. I felt like I was under a train. I felt like I was falling from a plane. Let's see. I felt like I was a living dead. Okay, all right. Those are good examples. Again, you're using like as a conjunction. Now, here comes like as an adverb, all right? In this case, it's going to modify either the verb or even maybe an adjective. And I could ask, for example, how long does it take you to get to the airport? And I want you to try and use it like this, nearly or approximately, all right? We're using it as an adverb. And I'd say for me, well, the airport, it's more like 15 minutes away. Don't tell me an exact number. Just give me an approximation and use like. The airport is, if somebody were to ask you, hey, is the airport an hour away? And you say, well, it's more like this far. Does it cost this much? And say, well, it's more like this. So often you would use it as more like in response to a question. If somebody's asking about an amount, a number, and you say, no, it's more like this number. So in this case, I'm talking about time. Well, it's more like 15 minutes. You can also use it as an adverb to talk about a degree. And in this case, I don't think it's as common, but you may still hear it. I'd say, well, the boy was pretending to be very tough-like. And I would say in this case, it's often more common in spoken English as opposed to written English. When you want to describe somebody, he entered the room he entered the room all like nonchalantly like. And you're describing somebody with an adjective saying tough and then adding like to the end saying that they were like this thing to a certain degree. All right. He was acting all tough like. She was being all, silly like. There's so many different examples that you could go through. But again, this is not probably one of the more common uses as an adverb. All right, let's look at some of the sentence, the airport is like, Ira said, the airport is like 10 minutes away. Okay, perfect. Saeed, nearly approximately, is more like 2 hours for me. All right, it's more like 2 hours. Let's see. Fuya, it's more like 1 hour away due to traffic. Perfect. So when you say something is more like, and you give like a number in responding to a question, then you're using like as an adverb. The next one that I want to talk to you about is an interjection. And in this case, it could be, it's the part of speech could be also like an adverb, but I wanted to separate it, an interjection, because this is something that people use quite often in spoken English. I catch myself doing it from time to time. And I could ask you a question, which is kind of silly. Do you like use like this? And if I'm saying that, do you like, it's used as a filler. All right. It's just kind of a pause in the sentence, a pause in the conversation. It's meaningless. It doesn't really have a meaning. But to break down my question, do you like, I'd say, do you like use like this? So do you like use like? I'm talking about the word in that case, so it's a noun. And then I'd say, well, like this, which would be the preposition. Do you use like this? So again, it is, as an interjection, it's a meaningless filler to express maybe uncertainty, a pause in the conversation, or maybe even to intensify an adjective. So, for example, somebody's maybe telling a story and say, oh, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe this. Or I could say, well, your comments are like amazing, all right? They're so amazing. They're like amazing. Again, I think it's more common depending on maybe even a certain age group. I think younger people are more likely to use like as an interjection. But if you guys are watching a TV show, try to listen for this and see if you can identify like being used as an interjection, and it's just a filler. I think it's common when people are telling a story and they're talking about something and maybe they're just getting excited and it's just this pause, this discourse marker, and they use like as that filler, as that interjection. And I really do think your comments are like amazing. And that's what I want you guys to do. If you write to me in the comments, because I just love hearing from you guys. I hope that this kind of would shed some light on this word and the different ways in which it's used. Please, if you enjoy our lesson, again, hit the like button. I would like, all right, I'm just going to do a little review. I would like, using it as a verb to be polite, for you to like, all right, in the infinitive, to register your approval, this video, because I hope the video receives 1,000 likes, all right? That is being used as a noun, all right? So write us questions in the comments. Thank you guys for joining me. Check out our social media classes as well. And yeah, all right. Thank you guys once again. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Just want to give some shout outs. Thank you. Ira, Vlad, Saeed, Juan, Perfect, Malone. Thank you for being here with me today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next time. So long.